Today, I want to talk to you about something that will make it easier for you to learn and improve your English skills. And that is Before we begin today's lesson, I'd like to remind you to join our social media classes because it's another great way to practice your English skills. So a lot of you out there who are learning English are studying on your own. Maybe you don't have time or the resources to take classes, so you are trying to teach yourself. And self-study is a great way to try and learn the language, but there are certain things that you can do to improve your skills so you become better at teaching yourself. One thing that I think is so important for learning English or any other language for that matter is using pictures and images to learn the language and reinforce whatever it is that you're trying to learn. And this is especially important for self-study because there are so many images out there that will help you learn the language. So first, why is it even important to use pictures or images when it comes to language learning? Well, we are all different and we have different learning styles. Some of us are kinesthetic learners and we need to move around. Others are auditory learners and we need to hear whatever it is that we're learning because that's going to help us. Others, like me, are visual learners and it really helps to see pictures with color, and it has a stronger meaning, and it helps me especially remember the material and really reinforces my understanding of whatever it is I'm learning because I'm actually able to see something to associate with that. And the significance of visual learning is evident all around us. This is especially true when it comes to early childhood education. You can just go into many elementary school classrooms around the world and you will probably see that they are full of pictures that are very colorful because this really grabs our attention. And not only that, it really provides a stronger connection with what we are learning, which in turn helps with our memory and our retention of the material. So what I want to show you today is something that maybe you are already familiar with and hopefully you are already using it, but if not, I strongly suggest that you start using it, and it is a great online resource that is available to everyone, and that is Google Images. What is it? Well, it's basically a search engine of pictures and images of anything that you want to know about. And it can be extremely useful for learning English, especially if you're studying on your own. So a lot of times students will ask me a question about vocabulary, grammar, maybe pronunciation, and depending on the question, I might just go on Google Images and find a picture and send that to them because that not only explains the material, but it gives them a visual reference. So the most common way that people use Google Images would be for vocabulary. They come across a word that they don't know and they want to have a picture to associate with that word. So for example, say that you are reading a story and you come across the word drawbridge. And you know it's a bridge, but you're not really sure exactly what type of bridge it is. So you can just write drawbridge into the Google image search engine and then voila, you have a bunch of pictures about what a drawbridge actually looks like. And now it's something that you can associate with what you already know, because many of us have seen a drawbridge in our lives at one point or another, and now we can associate that word to the image. Another example, maybe you don't know what a groundhog is. So we can put that into Google Images and then we see that, yes, okay, it is an animal. And maybe this is an animal that you've never seen before, so you really learn something entirely new. Or perhaps you have seen a groundhog before and you just didn't know that that's what it meant in English. And that's going to help you remember it, especially when you want to produce that word in speaking or writing. We can also use Google Images to find out the difference between two words. So for example, a lot of people might confuse the words borrow and lend. And on a side note, if you're looking for an explanation, you can check out our video right up there. or there. I don't know. It's somewhere up there. But we can use Google Images to find out the difference. We can just type in borrow versus lend, and then we're going to have a lot of pictures and images come up showing us the difference. And some of them even show us directly that yes, borrow means to take, lend means to give. And even if there's not necessarily a picture of the action, we can find the meaning, and it shows us using a lot of different colors, and colors really help. And what I'd recommend is that you save these images, put them in a vocabulary folder, and then you can reference them in the future. So Google Images is not limited to just vocabulary. We can also use it to learn grammar. So for example, say that we are studying and learning about the present perfect tense. Well, we can put that into Google Images, and again, we're going to have a lot of different pictures come up. And some of them are even going to have graphs and charts that are showing us more information about this verb tense, when to use it, how it's used, and it'll also give us many different example sentences using this verb tense. And then if you go up to the top, you can see that it gives us more words that are associated with our search. So maybe you also want to learn about the present perfect continuous. So now we can go over there and look at some of those pictures to give us an idea about how that verb tense is used, and maybe even understand the difference between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. Finally, we can even use Google Images when it comes to pronunciation. So say that you want to learn and understand a little bit more about silent letters. So you can write silent letters into the search. And now we have a lot of different pictures showing us images of words with silent letters, and the silent letter is even highlighted. So we know that when we're saying this word, we're not going to pronounce that sound because that letter is silent. Night, knee, wrist. These are all common words that have silent letters. And truthfully, these are just a few examples as to how you can use Google Images to improve your self-study. I would definitely recommend checking it out. If you have any question about the English language, just put it into Google Images and see what comes up. It's going to help you learn and understand the material better. So what I'd like you to do now is in the comments below, let us know what online resources you are using when it comes to learning English. And sharing this is going to help everyone because we'll be able to find and discover new resources that will help us learn English better, especially if we are using self-study. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this learning tutorial about how to use Google Images, so go use it. We'll see you next time.